All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the Uncle Bogator channel. If you are a regular viewer of mine, you'll know that in the last couple of videos, we've gotten my wife, Bo Mama, a new to us Road King. And one of the first things we noticed is that it still had all the old halogens on it, which is totally fine. The lights are fine, but I don't want them to operate under the condition of fine, right? We want to make them look as good as possible. If you've been around a while, you'll know I've had a partnership with Eagle Lights for over 2 years now. Fantastic products. I have put their lights on every single motorcycle I've had since my Royal Enfield in 2021. Fantastic company products. I'll have a discount down below in the description and the pinned comment. So in this video, we're going to change the headlight, the running lights, the front turn signals, the rear brake light, the rear tail lights, and we're going to install a run, brake, turn module that lets all three of the lights in the back work together. This is pre-2013. That means we're also going to be doing something that I've never done before. The bucket inside of the headlight housing is too small to accommodate today's LED lights, no matter who they're made by. So we have to take out that bucket and install an adapter ring. I've not done that yet on any of my bikes, so we're going to do that in this video as well. Prior to today, I did go out and record at night so I could get a before and after shot, and I commented in that little before shooting that the lights seemed kind of bright already, or the headlight seemed kind of bright, and it was also very white, and I was curious about that. Well, I hadn't looked all that closely to the lights before until I started getting ready to put these in. These are already like those LED light bulbs you can get. I think that's a cheap workaround, and if you look in there, you can see how some of the components have just kind of fallen apart and they're rattling around inside the housing. We don't like that at all. So without talking too much, let's get in there. Let's get these, get this light change going so we can make this bike light up the night.
All right, boys, here we are in the dark. You know, I do think somebody went in and put white light bulbs in these, but I mean, they're clearly just the old style, with the exception of the LED tail light there. Now, see, if you've watched my videos, if I hit my passing lights, it makes a significant difference. These hardly do anything at all, like I was saying earlier. All right, let's get out on a dark road. We're not going to spend too much time doing this. All you need to see is a difference, I think. All right, we're going to turn right here at this stop sign. This is the same road that I used when I was doing the comparison for the generations of headlight on my other Road King. And we'll use this road when I come back to test the LED on hers. I am impressed with this halogen, to be fair. I don't think this is the stock bulb. I've seen lots of stock Harley Davidson lights, and they're all pretty yellow looking. We'll get past this oncoming traffic here. We'll play around with the brights, the high beams, the low beams, the passing lamps, etc. All right, let's turn off the, there we go. Turn that off. So now this is just the headlight. Brights. It doesn't really, I mean, it kind of glows out a little bit more. I don't feel like it's giving me a higher beam though. High beam with the passing lamps. Yeah, you can't even see the passing lamps. Oh, maybe they don't. Yeah, they don't come on. Oh, that's interesting. So maybe that's a wiring thing from back then, but if I turn on my high beams, passing lamps go off. I'm gonna have to look that up. I've never heard of that. All right, let's make a U-turn, head back towards the house, and when next we meet, we'll be putting these on. Oh, I picked a dirt road. That's fine. All right, we'll see you tomorrow when we start putting these things on.
All right, first things first, this bike has the little French visors on there, which I'm a huge fan of. Now these guys here have a Phillips head screw and a lock nut on the back. And the lock nut doesn't really have a good way to grip it with pliers, so you can just use some finger strength to hold that still. Yeah, you can't even really turn that. You have to turn the screw pretty much the whole way out. You also notice that there's this gap here. There's a gap on mine too. I don't think it's in the frame, but these things are notorious for having the gap in them. There we go. We're gonna slide this over here on my lift. Then your headlight, this chrome ring here just has another Phillips head screw on the bottom. Little small guy. There we go. That'll come right off. Now you've got 3 screws. This one's missing one. Thankfully, the new ring that I got for this thing has all of them in there. Screw 1, screw 2, screw me, screw you. Oh, that should be it. And that's just gonna fall right out. You got a little wire here. Unplug that. There's your light, there's your ring. Yeah, this bucket here doesn't accommodate for any of the new style headlights. Now these don't ship with instructions, I'll tell you that right now. But if you go on the website when you're ordering these, there will be instructions in PDF format right there on the page. So we know that's gonna go there. Yeah, that one doesn't have one, that's fine. Oh, this is the top. You can tell this is the top for 2 reasons. One, you've got the knots there that you put the trim ring on, and then the bottom where that trim screw goes on. That's how you know top and bottom. Okay, we're gonna start taking these screws out. These are spring loaded, these are your adjusters. Normally the only time you wanna mess with these at all is after you've installed the new light and you wanna make your adjustments 25 feet back. We'll go through that process as well. All right, now this has its own ring. Here, we're gonna pull this around here. Hope this doesn't get out of the way too much for you guys. This whole assembly is gonna be mounted on with these screws. We wanna make sure the head of these screws doesn't go through there, which they do, but they line up. Yeah, they line up perfectly there. We need washers, boys. That's what we need. We need washers or else this ain't gonna work. All right, boys. Through the magic of editing, you will never know that today is the next day. Except for the fact that I just told you. So what I determined yesterday was that the screws that came out of the original bucket for the headlight, the heads were larger in diameter than the mounting holes. I don't know if that's gonna be something that you'll deal with every model, pre-2013. Okay, editing Mike here. I did want to confirm that I did reach out to a couple sources, and yes, Harley manufactured different size screws all throughout those model years. They were using different size screws. So Equalizer went with the hole that was going to best fit the majority of them. Sometimes you get the smaller headed screws like I got, and so you're going to have to get some washers to stop that gap. Small washers, it cost me $3, easy. Back to the video. But specific to my bike, it's exactly what it was. So I just got these number 6 washers, these little guys right here. Should be big enough to accommodate. Here, we'll just put one in. And obviously, I'm going to tighten this up just to make sure the washer is going to be good. It is. And then I'm not going to tighten it up anymore. I want to put these all on. You guys don't need to see me putting screws in all 8 of these spots. And we'll pick back up when I start putting this headlight on. All right, now we can start getting into some light install. Make sure you take this retaining ring off. I'm so glad this comes with a new retaining ring, because the one I had on my light was kind of busted. Make sure you take the screws out, not the Allen heads. The Allen bolts are going to be, those are your adjustment screws. Now, if you watch my comparison video between Generation 1, 2, and 3 lights, you'll know that I stuck with the Generation 2 light. So we're going to use the Generation 3 on Bomama's, the 8700 CG3. I already know it works electronically on this thing because I tried it the other day. All we're going to do is plug that in here to the appropriate thingamabobber. Now the dot SAE is going to go up top. Perfect. And you got little notches inside the ring here to let you know when you've got it installed correctly. Retaining ring goes over it. All right, now what I want to do is I'm actually going to, just because it's mostly assembled here, I'm going to go ahead and turn the ignition on and make sure that comes on. So, there we go. That's the low beam. That's your high beam. All right, that all works. The goal for tonight, well, I like to get everything done, but the goal for tonight is at bare minimum get the entire front done. so we can go out and get an after shot. The next thing we're going to look at are the passing lights. Because we're using the Generation 3 headlight, we're going to use the Generation 3 passing lights at 8700 CG3P. Here, we'll take a look at them before we get them on the bike. They look sharp. They don't look like mine. My passing lights are Generation 1. I think that looks sharp, man. That looks real sharp. All right, let's start tearing into this bad boy here. So again, like the other French visor, it's just a screw and it's actually a coupling nut on the back of that. I didn't know the name of that nut until today, so I'm showing off that I know something. Wonder if I can get this off without. Okay. Well, not fully. Looks like I have to fully remove this. So I think you got it on camera here. We're going to take this off because these have their own little retainers inside of it. All right, just kind of muscle that out a little bit. I have no doubt that we're going to be needing this ring again. I'm just going to see what the orientation is. Yeah, look at these cheap. I mean, it works, right? If you can't get the whole thing, that works. All right, now what I want to do is I just want to simply plug that in, turn the lights on. Okay, it works. All right, now just like the headlight, the part that says .SAE, you want on top there. Okay, but my dumb ass, put this ring on first. Don't be like me. All right, plug this back in. It sure still comes on. It does. Perfect. I got that all tucked away in there. Stick this on. Now I got to get this. This is another instance where I wish I had another hand. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure this kind of goes in a line there, which it ain't yet. Look at that. This screw's nice and long, so I don't have to be as careful as I did with the headlight. And since I'm over here on this side already, instead of doing both of these lights first, I'm going to do both of these lights first. Does that make sense? That's beautiful. Man, this thing looks good. All right, we're going to do this bottom front turn signal, bottom right turn signal. So I've got two part numbers here, or we'll go over the rear turn signal when I get to it. 8748TS, like turn signal -G2 for Generation 2. So take that coupling nut off and that screw off. Be careful pulling this off because you got a plastic lens right behind it. This thing clearly gets tucked in behind there. Your old uncle's going to do some discovery here. I can't really get the screwdriver in there all that well, but this looks like it might work, friends. These French visors are pretty, and I want these on my Road King. They do present some extra challenges. Yeah, this is going to come off just fine now. I see how those go on now. You see the ridge? Yeah. So when we put the new lens on, we're actually going to be using clear lenses for the front. My wife likes how mine looks with all the white light. You know what I'm going to use for this? I'm going to show you. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see it. I've got some little spreader pliers that I use for exhaust flanges. Not flanges, but exhaust snap rings. We're gonna get those out. What I'm afraid of, I know you guys can't see me, but I'm over here digging through tools. What I'm afraid of is I'll start messing around with my hands and apply some sort of weird uneven pressure and end up breaking something. I don't want to break anything. All right, like I said, I use these for exhaust snap rings. Look at that. Imagine that, using tools. Oh boy, oh boy. All right, so we're gonna pop this bulb out. That is an 1157 style bulb. Let's hope these are also 1157 style bulbs. These are 1157 style bulbs. How about that? Which one's a deep one? We need this to stay still, so when I start putting lenses and shit on, it doesn't flop around. Now, to make my life easier, I'm gonna go ahead and stick these screws in the holes because they're harder to insert before putting this on, you know what I mean? Well, if we got these both right now, we're gonna be pretty daggone lucky. I mean, it's all these things aren't dead ass hard, right? But stick this back through here like so. Put this coupling nut back on. Tighten it up with a screwdriver, and then I'll realign that before I tighten it all the way down. Now I'm gonna turn this thing on, and we might have some serious hyper flash. Got a solution for that later in the video. But I want to make sure it's at least getting a signal. I probably should have done that before I button it all up, because knowing my luck, it won't be right. Okay. Heck yeah, buddy. Let me go get her keys. The security thing is going off. All right, got her keys. So now we got the running lights here. They look really good. Make sure the turn signal works. Yep, it works. Yeah, and there's the hyper flash. I knew it was going to happen. Like I said, we have a solution for that here in a little bit. All right, I'm going to wrap up this other side, the left side here. You guys don't need to see installation on both sides. It's going to be identical. Then I'm going to determine from there whether I'm going to go ahead and do the back or get things ready to line up for tonight so I can give you guys an after shot of all the new lights on. But either way, we're going to see you here in just a little bit. All right, boys, we got the front all done up. I'm going to show you guys everything lit here in a little while when I take it out. I can already tell you I'm going to have to twist this one in a little bit, but we might do that tomorrow when we do the finishing touches on it. We're going to step around to the back and take care of all these lights back here. But what I've done in the interim is I've measured 25 feet back from the garage door to the front of the headlight there. I measured up to the headlight is 36.5 inches. With the garage door closed, I've got another 36.5 inch mark. I want to make all those measurements and lines while I still had light outside. So that way when I finish with the rear, hopefully it'll be dark enough by then where we can get out here, adjust the lights, go for a little test spin. All right, we're going to get this, we're going to do this tail light first. I think that's going to present the least challenges. Now it's getting a little dark outside, a little dark. This one's real easy. These are just 2 screws, one on each side, left and right. I might put this trim piece back on. I haven't decided yet. And I went with a red tail light. I'll give you the part number for that here in just a minute. Yeah, I like that. You guys like that? I do. Bo Mama's got a lot of chrome on her bike. All right, this should just be some, yep, that's all it is. Pretty simple, huh? Now we can only hope and pray that this one is just as simple. Now for the tail light here, it's a strobing tail light. It's an 8900 TL6-R. This is pretty, ain't it? I guess I went like that. They had this one kind of angled. I went with a square back. I like them sticking that a little bit more. And then this one also comes with a new pad. All right, how's this gonna go? Kind of like a weatherproofing strip. Just got a little sticky on one side. Pull that off. Plug this guy in here. There we go. And then that's gonna go on just like that. Yeah, just like the good Lord intended. All right, now what I'm gonna do before I start buttoning all this up, well, I need to get it secure, I guess. I'm gonna need to get Bo Mama out here. She's gonna need to help me with that flashlight or something. All right, so we got the assistance of Bo Mama out here, and we've determined that she does not want that trim piece back on, which is fine. Can you hold this right here, baby? Okay, we'll get this to where it starts. And the hole in there. Well, I got lucky there, it didn't. Oh, there it goes, it moved. I said a word and it moved. Let's just hope it lines up now. Hey, when we started putting these lights, we started ordering these lights, she told me, she goes, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it. Me! She asked me if I was talking shit. No, I appreciate everything you do. Look, I came home tonight to a fresh hot supper, okay? So I don't mind at all doing these kind of things for my wife. I think you guys can understand that. Those of you who might be in similar domestic situations. Okay, no trim. I actually like no trim. I thought she was gonna like it. All right, let's get on to these. Man, I wish my spotlight was working. All right, this is where we're gonna find out if I got it right by ordering the 1156 style bulbs. I believe I did get it right because traditionally these light bulbs are only gonna come on for turn signals. So there's no reason to have an 1157 bulb, right? If you guys aren't familiar with the difference, 1156 has equal distance little tabs on each side. Some of you guys are already gonna know this. This is for people who don't. And 1157s have offset prongs around the socket of the bulbs to accommodate for the differences between the running light and a turn signal or a brake light or whatever. So somehow these guys engineered these things because they got it all figured out where they can use the 1156 style for all three, which isn't standard practice. And just like the front, we're not gonna do both sides on camera. We're just gonna do this front one. I did figure out a better way to get this on and off on the second one. And we'll highlight that when we get to it. All right, Telltale. It is 1156. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it, but these two little prongs here that poke up in there, they're the same distance from the end. So that's how we know it's an 1156 and how we know we ordered the right ones. The part number for these guys, 8748TS, turn signal -G2, which is where it stopped for the front, And then it's dash 1156R. 1156 is going to be the bold type. R is going to be red, because you can order these in different colors. You don't have to mimic exactly what I did here. Okay, the deep one is here, so the one closest to the end, oh, it doesn't matter because it's not 1157. We just had that whole conversation. Okay, and we got new clear lenses. We're going to go all clear again, all the way around. Now this is the difference here between what I did on the front that I showed you. Here's something else I learned off camera. So this has a tab, this little lens here on one side and not a tab on the other. This is very important. This side here is flat. You're going to line this flat part up here when you put this in. And you want to make sure the tab is not on the side that this flat part is, otherwise it won't close. I was up there fighting with it for a minute before I realized what I was doing wrong. All right, here's where it starts to get a little different than what we did on camera in the front. We're going to put this on a little bit. That's even too much, maybe. Back it off just a hair. I'm going to show you where that matters. You probably already figured it out, because most of you are probably way smarter than I am. All right, see how it's barely hanging on? Now we can put this bad boy on here. There we go. All right. Tighten these up now that they're in. Make sure this is lined up right. That gap should be centered on that screw there if we're assuming that that's going to be lined up perfectly, which I've got no reason to doubt it. On these coupling nuts, there's a rounded side and a flat side. You want to put the flat side where that screw goes. Piece of cake. Big old juicy chocolate cake. What's your favorite kind of cake? I like chocolate cake and cheesecake and carrot cake. German chocolate cake. Shit, I don't care, man. It's like cake. I mean, you've seen my body. You know I like just about anything. All right, quick test before we move on to the next side. Right now, it's just going to be the turn signal. But I want to make sure it comes on, right? Okay, it does. And in a little while, we're going to install a run, brake, turn module. All right, boys, we're getting this thing done tonight, I believe. I'm going to get the other side, the other turn signal on, off camera. Like I said, on the front. You don't need to see both sides. Then we'll move on to the run, brake, turn module and the Equalizer. All right, boys, we got 2 more parts here to install, and they have to be installed in a specific order. We've got a run, brake, turn module that's going to allow both turn signals and the tail light to all act as running lights, brake lights, and the turn signals will work like normal. That is an RBT-P. Then we've got an equalizer to get rid of that hyper flash. This is an EL60WR-P. The instructions for which way to put these on, it says the equalizer must be connected to the side of the bike's harness closest to the front, and the run, brake, turn module connected closest to the rear. So this is going to go up this way, this is going to go that way, this just comes out of this. So they kind of go in a series, right? All right, it's going to go this way, perfect. Then your run, brake, turn module is going to click in here. Here we go. All right, and then this side is going to go on the back part where the harness goes. Come on. Come on. Let's wiggle it just a little bit. If you don't push too hard and you push down, side to side, you can kind of feel which part of this pin is hanging up. See, if you push too hard, you'll end up pushing those pins right out of this socket here. We don't want to do. All right, we're going to ditch the knife. We're going to go with a flat head, kind of wedge it in there. Oh yeah, that's going to look a lot better. That's going to look a lot better. I believe this thing, there we go. There it goes. All right, there it goes. All right, telltale sign if we got this all together. Also in the instructions, there's a little note where if your turn signals aren't synced up, you can run the hazard light for about 10 minutes and the module will kind of correct it. But let's turn on the ignition here. Okay, we can already see. Yeah, baby, they're all running. This is nice. Let me get Bo Mom out here to hit these brakes and these blinkers, huh? All right, we got Mom out here on her bike. Hit the brake. I don't care which brake. Okay, let go of the brake. Right turn signal. Left turn signal. Do you know how to turn on your hazards on this bike? Hit both turn signals at the exact same time. All right, leave them on like that. All right, there's your hazards here. We're gonna check the front, make sure they're all doing what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, baby. Right turn signal. Left turn signal. Boom, baby. All right, turn your ignition off. All right, boys, she is nice and lit up now all over. Next step, we're gonna put this seat on. We're gonna go for a test ride. It's almost dark. It's not quite there. That'll give me a couple minutes to clean all this stuff up, and then yeah, we'll see you out there to see the big difference.
All right, y'all, we're gonna head to a nice little dark road. We got a couple roads with street lights before we get there, but I can already tell you this is loads different. Loads different. So what we did was we went ahead and put on all the trim pieces, and I lined up the best I could the passing lamps, because I noted earlier that the right one was crooked. I didn't think that was going to matter, but it sure did. I made the light kind of go at an angle like this. Oh man, this is significant. After I noticed the other lights were already kind of white and somewhat bright from the headlight, I was kind of worried it wasn't going to be that much of an impact, but it sure is. And right now we have the headlight and the passing lights on, and I'm going to tell you a couple little things about that I learned. We're going to show this headlight here with the passing lights on and the passing lights off. I typically run mine on, but I'm going to show you what they look like, you know, both ways here. All right, we're going to turn down this road. What this bike has programmed versus my 14 is that when you hit the brights, the passing lamps turn off. And I thought, man, I really want to turn that feature off. But then I learned why they do that. I want to explain that here in a second. We've got oncoming traffic. As soon as this oncoming traffic gets past us, we'll really highlight the difference between passing lamps on, passing lamps off, brights, etc. All right, this is both. If we turn the passing lamps off, now keep in mind, GoPro does not really capture the distance of headlights very well. You guys need to keep that in mind. I can see a lot farther in real life than you are ever going to see on screen from the GoPro, right? This is plenty bright. Obviously, with these guys on, I'm going to have a lot more vision here. Now, we're going to wait for this other car to get past us, and I'm going to talk to you about why the passing lamps go off when you turn on the high beam. Something I learned today, actually. Just a little bit of reading out there. It's called night blindness, something like that. So, if you turn the high beams on, and these lights are still blasting here down below you, you're not going to be able to see the difference out as far as you would if the passing lamps were off. So they turn those off so that way your high beams make a significant difference, which it makes a whole lot of sense now. Now that I've learned that it's that way, boy, this car is going real slow here. All right, let's turn these high beams on, which is going to automatically turn the passing lamps off. Boom. This thing lights up this whole back road back here. I love it. If you watched the video from a few weeks ago, whenever this comes out, when I compared generations 1, 2, and 3, one thing I noted about generation 3, that's what this is that it has a much more natural up glow when you hit the bright lights versus a distinct added line that generations 1 and 2. I did choose generation 2 for my 2014 Road King, but that was just my own personal preference. If you watch that video, you can go back in the catalog and look. You'll know that I actually had a really hard time deciding which one I was going to use on my bike between 2 and 3. And I ultimately decided on 2. I've already covered that. So we put generation 3 here on Mama's bike. Yeah. All right, we're going to flip a UE right here. My goodness, this thing looks so good. And this is back in the country, boys. There ain't no street lights. I mean, sure, you got a couple of lights here from, you know, if people have installed them at their house, but there's no lights out here otherwise. Turn the brights back off, and yes, there is a notable difference. I can't see anywhere near as far out that way, but I've got a whole lot more light here right in front of me. Yeah. So we're gonna head back to the house, and we'll record some closing thoughts tomorrow back in the daylight. I'm gonna tell you this whole install time. I got home at 5:45 p.m. This afternoon. I changed clothes, ate supper, and had all of this stuff done aligned. Yes, I did line the lights up. I didn't film that because I was out in the dark. I had all this stuff done by 8:45, so 3 hours total from the time I got home, including eating dinner and changing clothes. So maybe 2.5 hours total to do everything, including having it lined up. That's a pretty easy install if you ask me. So we're going to get back to the house, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. I have some closing thoughts. Don't forget my discount code is going to be in the description and in the first pinned comment.
All right, y'all, that's going to wrap this video up. I know you guys can tell the difference on the video between going from the halogen light. Well, they weren't even halogen. They were the cheap LED bulb replacements. And if it made that big of a difference from the bulb to the full LED package, you know, imagine the difference it's going to make from a halogen, you know, to upgrade to LED. Like I've been an advocate for 4 years now, Equalizer is a great product. You're not paying, you know, the price of some of the other brands that, in my opinion, they're not bad. They just don't offer enough difference to justify that cost. Equalizer has been great for me. Any generation that you get, 1, 2, or 3, is going to be a significant upgrade if you haven't done it already. I had the generation 1 on my 2014 Road King for over 2 years. Worked flawlessly. I just upgraded to the generation 2 recently. And then we got generation 3 here on this video. But I do appreciate you coming along for this video and all videos. And until next time, we'll see you later.